Okay, guys, let's talk about that girl, the that girl trend going round. This is another thing that I've been seeing, yeah, a lot. Being that girl, like, what is that girl? Like, this kind of trendy girl, yeah, that has it, yeah, in quotes, yeah, has it. When it comes to his style, yeah, the way that she presenting her image to the world. What have I really learned about this? Yeah, I mentioned this in some of the style videos, tapes, yeah, even as well, yeah, over the last couple of days. Let me tell you what I learned about this. So even though it's kind of trending at the moment, that girl, should you romanticize your life, these kind of things, yeah. Um, I learned like this, guys. Even though it's kind of trending, yeah, I have always noticed it. Okay, so just like the way that I grew up, things like that, how I did feel about my finances, my image, my place in the world, yeah, who I wanted to be, yeah, want to be a somebody, yeah, should we call it that? Want to be a somebody. Um, I just realized, like, in my life, you know what? Sometimes, people, don't have it. You don't have it, yeah? You you don't always have this money, yeah? Um, yeah, spending money on things to impress people you don't even like, yeah? Or maybe that you do, yeah? Um, yeah, I just had to learn, like, so what worked for you, yeah? You kind of have to work with what you got and what worked for you. Um, in terms of finances, yeah, how have I applied this to my own life? I have broken down many times about this, yeah. I want to look my best, I want to feel my best, but I also want to be in control of my finances and my mental and emotional health, yeah, well-being. I just realized some of the things, yeah, that's working for me, yeah, is just keeping thing classic. Keeping thing to a classic, to a minimum. For me, it has actually become essential, yeah, not only to my pocket but my well-being. That when I get washed and dressed in the morning, yeah, I just want to go to that thing that I love to wear, yeah. Like, I'm most likely to reach for. Okay, that helps. Like, what are you most likely to reach for? Okay, all right. Um, yeah, and usually these things are classic. Yeah, they're not really, really trendy. Um, it's a lot easier to select these items and build your wardrobe with. It's a lot easier. Um, it's a lot easier, yeah. So picking this classic kind of pieces. A lot of people do this with these kind of capsule wardrobes. I do like these, yeah. What it is I really like about them is that you can do them in various ways. So I do like the idea of having something like, a capsule for work, a capsule for outerwear, even like say if you do want to join in this kind of trends, yeah, giving yourself only a set amount for that, yeah, things like this. But just understanding that some things, they're at your disposal, yeah, not just more inexpensive, or even, let's just say, yeah, not as good quality items, yeah. You know, there's some less expensive things that are actually very good quality. I think for myself, I became quite stressed, yeah, and anxious in my life, yeah, many times, yeah, just from even looking at items of clothing. And you know what? This wasn't just because of a sizing issue, a financial issue, yeah. This also, I think it affected me in, um, yeah, like acceptability and fitting in. It affected me in that way. Um, how do I see this now, yeah? I see it like, I see it like this, yeah. It's just, it's just a lot easier to select item and put on item that you know that you go to over and over again. It's not such a bad thing to get out of your comfort zone, but when you really, really need it, yeah, you know, it's too stressful to be thinking too much about, okay, how's this looking, and it's too much. Yeah, it's too much. Sometimes you just need them essential things, you know. Okay, so like for example, yeah, I was looking online. I made the autumn winter SOS. I start looking online. What did I find good about that? Well, there's a lot of things that I like. I noticed that. Like there was a lot of things I was inspired I want to try. But when I was just real with myself, I was looking at these things and I was like, you know, you're gonna be cold in that, like something, you know, you understand, like they photograph these things in a studio, you know, a lot of them, you know, they're in the studio, they're not freezing their backside off or walking around in the streets, you know. So when I really think like this, it gave me a better idea of not only what my budget actually was, yeah, but in also I was able to compare, yeah, my budget with how much I actually need, yeah, at the minimum, yeah. When it comes to SOS items, you know, I was actually able to understand this. And a lot of people do work by a budget system with their clothing. This is something as well that I am definitely now going to make a point of sitting down with the list that I have written, the ideas that I have brainstormed with you, and I am going to account for these kind of items, and I'm gonna really look at realistically how much it is I need to be spending on clothing per season. And this is when I would absolutely start to build a capsule in my life. I mean, I have tried many ways, okay, to dress myself, as we have found out over here, and before I was even doing YouTube. But out of all that experience, yeah, I have really learned, yeah. So for example, I have tried putting whole outfits together. I have tried to only select the items that I like. I have you know, I already mentioned messing around with the different sizing and shopping around and comparing prices. You know what? All of that, yeah, is actually too stressful for me. Like, I just need a budget per season for clothing, and I need a capsule per season, yeah, or for what it is, yeah, that I'm actually doing in my lifestyle, you know. So it's like this, then I can count how many things, yeah, I actually need, you know, by how often I do a task, and yeah, I'm living, and so on and so forth, you know. That is really what I found is gonna work for me now. So it does help if you struggle, yeah, in the clothing area or with your image, yeah, to really sit down and look at these kind of systems, okay? How much money, yeah, you actually need to what you have, by what it is you actually wear and do in your life, and consider, maybe is it worth building more of a capsule, okay? um yeah, and you know, maybe you can even start quite inexpensively to just have some of the thing you need, yeah, and then eventually, yeah, you can add some nicer bits. Or if you can wait, okay, if you know that you really can wait, yeah, for something, for example, okay, yeah, so like thing like boots and coats, the temperature hasn't got below freezing yet, okay, hasn't got to very cold, shall we say, it's better to say, yeah, then that's how you can manage, you know. Because I feel like I see a lot of videos and these kind of capsules and different ways and frugal tips and, you know, comparing prices, shops and hauls, and I see loads of these. But, you know, I never really hear anyone talking about, okay, so what do you do in the meantime? You know, and realistically what most people's budgets actually are. Yes, and yeah, not getting yourself into trouble, yeah, with your finances, okay? You know, there's a lot of these kind of pay laters, and you know, people pay for things on credit cards and so on, yeah, okay. Um, and this is working for some people, but for others, it's not. Or maybe you do that and you want to breathe from that, you know. You need breathing space, yeah, so to speak, yeah. Okay, so that's some of my tips on that. That's what I think is a good way to move forward if you're starting at ground zero. And yeah, especially for me starting at ground zero, yeah. So that was my video, yeah, on building this capsule wardrobe, yeah, and having breathing space.